Hey everybody, how are you today? I am here to tell you something that you might not have heard before. I am here actually to talk to you about what it takes to create content that's going to attract more clients into your coaching practice. And I don't know how if you've heard this before or not, but I have heard that in order to create content to get noticed in the sea of everything that's happening out there, that you've got to do it every single day. And I am here to tell you the opposite. I want you to create less content. That's what's going to work. But before we just dive into today's topic about creating a lot, why less content is a good thing. It's a good thing on many levels. I want to introduce myself. I'm Kristen Poborsky, and I help business and life coaches dial in and implement their content creation strategy so that they can attract more clients into their coaching practice. So today I'm here to talk to you about the 3 steps to creating smarter and more transformational content. Not more of it, but less of it. And why simply creating more content is not better. And why the less is more attitude to creating content, how that will, when you do it, transform your business. Okay. So what most people tell you to do, that if you want more eyeballs on your stuff, more traffic on your website, is to just keep creating more and more content. But that does not solve the problem. Actually, it makes it worse. So you just end up creating more and more content. And because you're in a hurry, stressed, overloaded, you probably don't create as great a content as you possibly could. It's might even be crappy. Trust me, I know, I've tried it out myself. So you end up on burnout, and at the same time, just because you're creating so much content, your audience, they're getting burned out listening to you. So they might even be turning you off. I know, because I tested this all out. I created content every single day for an entire month. And this is what I felt like. I was like sick and tired of content creation. It took me so far away from the things that I really needed to be doing in my business, and it didn't get me anywhere. So that's what happens. It's kind of like when you create content every single day, you end up like the nagging wife. And who wants to listen to the nagging wife or husband? Could be either, right? Nobody. So what happens when someone is nagging you to do something? You tune them out. And that is what your audience, I bet, is doing if you're creating way too much content all the time. They can't possibly consume it all, and you're overwhelming them. So they just quit listening, right? So what should you do instead? Well, create less and smarter content, because you don't want to be a nagger, right? So let me share with you the 3 steps that I know will help you create that better content. And again, all you need is 1 piece a week, right? So what I mean, the first thing is content that helps. So when I say content that helps, I don't mean that you're going to give them a step-by-step how-to with all of the answers. That gets to stay behind your paywall. Instead, what I want you to do, instead of thinking of it as how-to, it is more the what-to. So once you start telling people what to do instead of how to do it, they're less overwhelmed. They are not ready to consume all the how-tos. They're going to want to come and learn the how-tos from you, right? So that's what you do. Number 2 is, what you want to do then is write about topics where you know that your ideal client has a pain point. And when you do that, you stir their desire and get them into a buying state of mind. So of course that has to relate directly back to your selling, for your products and your services, for that to work properly. Okay. So you want to, again, focus on the what and not the how. You just want to make sure that when you're talking about the what, your unique way of doing things. So that's how you differentiate yourself from everybody else in the marketplace. You come up with a framework, a system, whatever you want to name your system of how you solve their problem. That's how you differentiate it. And you probably want to pick some point and go against the grain, like I am here in this video saying you need to create less content, not more, right? So you want to pick some sort of unique way that you can pivot on what everybody else is saying, okay? Then the third step is you want to create content that builds a connection with your audience. So you want to create the content on the pain point. You want to give them the what, and you don't want to give them the how, but what you want to do is include stories that illustrate the transformation and when the steps are applied, so they can start seeing you as having the answers. That is how you build the connection. If you start adding in the stories, saying how this works, who it worked for, not just saying how it worked, but you need to have you have to have a story that goes along with that. When you do that, that starts building connection with your audience, because they can see themselves as having the same outcome, especially when you're talking about a pain point that they're probably having. So if that makes sense. So I just want to, talk to you now about what happens when you start creating content using these three steps, and only creating one piece of content a week. So I just want to make a point here. If you are spending hours and hours of creating content every single week, something is wrong. But if you're also at the other end of the spectrum and you're overwhelmed and you're not even creating any pieces of content, or you're just doing it when you feel like it because someone said you've got to create content every single day, so you just like, why am I going to do that? Or I'm just going to do it whenever I feel like it. What you've got to do is be consistent and show up, okay? But all it takes is one single piece of content a week at the same time, and that's all it takes to really start to get things happening, okay? That's right, because when you have a right system in place, then it all gets that much easier. So you block out a day, you say, I'm going to create it this day, and it goes out like on clockwork. That's all it takes. And when you do that, when you have like, you're consistent, you show up every single day, you're creating the content around what your audience wants, you're going to see a huge difference. So let me just kind of tell you a story that perfectly illustrates that. So what we do with our clients is we have a 5-step framework, right? That we go through where step 1, they plan their content. Step 2, it gets researched. 3, we write it, and so on and so forth. And we have a whole system where they do that, makes it super easy. And then we measure and repeat. Okay, so that's just the brief framework for creating profitable content. So when we did this for a client of ours, one of our students, he started seeing going from a very little traffic to his website up to 3,000 to 4,000 views a month on his website. Now I see that even on mine. I'm being consistent, and my whole traffic and everything is growing to my website. Now, I'm not talking that you have to do any fancy SEO, any ads, that kind of thing. If you are consistent with your content and you get it out there and you're writing about things, you're going to see growth. Okay, that's all it takes, is creating a plan around the right content and just doing it once a week. So I also, as part of this process, I tell people to test out new topics as well. That's how you find new topics that could actually transform your coaching practice. I've seen people discover highly profitable niches that took them from six figures to multiple six figures with waiting lists and raising their prices. Not seeing more clients, but being able to raise their prices and service the same number of clients because they figured out what that big, huge pain point was that people wanted solved, and they created a lot of content around it. Okay, so let me share you kind of a specific story about how that happened. This is the story of a relationship coach who discovered a highly profitable topic niche, okay, through testing new content. So we had began the whole content creation process. We created the first 3 months of content, and it was working really well. We started seeing the website visits go from 1,000 to 3,000. And that's how you know when your stuff is working, is who's on your website. How many pieces of content are they consuming every single day? Is the number growing or is it going down? If it's going down, then you know there's something wrong, right? It's all about the numbers. So let's get back to the story, okay? So we were pretty happy with this progress, and we had a plan to try out some new topics, and we started testing those topics and categories, and lo and behold, we discovered a highly profitable, highly successful piece of content. It actually started out being a very successful piece of content, but we ran away with it and we started creating more content, opt-ins, programs, packages, all around solving this one problem for his audience. And that's really when things started rolling for him. And it was kind of cool because we did this back in 2015, and even just last week, it's really exciting because these spikes come along, and even after all this time, we still get excited when we discover a whole new kind of topic that's like, whoa, look at the response. So last week we had one, and this one topic, and was something that we really hadn't written very much about, got 500 views in a single day with this new test topic. So now, well, you're probably wondering, well, what are we going to do with that new content topic? Well, we're going to start building more content around that same topic. We actually have another piece coming out this week with the opposite side of what was written last week, right? So I expect that to do really well. And we'll probably write more things on this specific topic. We will build a new opt-in, we'll do a video, and possibly a whole kind of coaching program or an online program or a hybrid. So, and that's something too that I want to mention too, as on the old topic, that the old niche or profitable niche, how do we go one further when we have a really, really profitable niche, and we've built programs and we've filled up the practice with all these people? Then we take it a step further and go into a high ticket program, which is a hybrid of coaching and online. And then you can actually serve more people with your services at a higher price. So do you see how the whole content thing is so important to attracting people into your coaching practice? I mean, I sure hope you do. So let me just recap those 3 steps to creating smarter and transformational content that will transform your practice by attracting more clients, okay? So number 1 is creating content that helps. Again, I don't mean when you're saying help, you don't want to give them all the answers. You're just telling them what to do and illustrating it with stories about how it works. Okay. Content that illuminates a pain point. This is like so key, a pain point that they're having. And remember, give them the what, not the how. So then we want to go a step further and add into that content that's going to build connection with your audience. And that means telling the stories of the transformation. And when you do that, that's really how you build that connection, that deeper connection. And that's what really gets them into a buying state of mind. All right. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I just love these steps. I know it works. And I'd love to have you leave a comment over here down below. Let me know how your content is doing. And I also want to invite you to come join us over on my free Facebook group right here. I've got to put the link to it over in the notes here as soon as I'm done. It's the Successful Coaching Practice with Kristen Poborsky. Once you join us over there, there's all kinds of videos, content pieces that will help you not just create better content, but we're covering a whole host of marketing for coaching practice topics. So we'll be talking about other things over there too, but we're going to continue this whole content creation conversation over there as well. So take care. I hope you had a great afternoon, and I will be back again with more great content for you soon. Take care.